Boy, you are always getting into it with those phone reps. I'm not ready to hear it right now. I know you said you got a Zoom meeting. I'll let you go. But before I get off, I wanted you to know that there's a job fair being held at the G Civic Center tomorrow.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Hey, I'm Maurice J. Hicks, and hey, we're here for the social vision, and I got a special guest. This guest today, she is all sorts of things as far as as a good thing. She's an actress, she's a model, she's a singer, songwriter, host, director, and a screenwriter. And is no other than EVELYN LeTESHIA. Welcome, Evelyn. Hi, Evelyn, how you doing?
I am fabulous. Thank you for having me. It is such an honor to be on this platform with you.
Cool. Thank you. And hey, I have to say, man, Evelyn had one of the greatest scenes, and I know you guys just saw it. So I mean, it was just so funny, and she brought so much life to the film. Yeah, and that was Vote Trip, by the way. So the first question, I want to jump right into it, Evelyn.
Let's get it. I'm ready.
Good. So, when did you know you wanted to become all those things that I just named, which is an actress, model, singer, songwriter, host, director, screenwriter? I want to make sure I say it again.
Okay.
More specifically, an actor is what, since we're doing the acting thing right now.
Well, let's speak on the acting. Everything that I do, they all have their own pretty much separate timelines and reasons behind them. Some have sprung from the acting. But acting, when I was a little kid, I was a huge Michael Jackson fan. Like Michael Jackson, and in a kid's mind, it took me a while to separate Michael Jackson, the adult who he was when I was a kid, versus Michael Jackson in the Jackson 5. It took me a second to that's the same little boy. Oh my God. So I had this idea that I was going to be this child star, just like Michael Jackson. But then I hit 18. I'm like, okay, maybe not child star, but we're going to still work on it. But acting, I caught the acting bug truly. I was around 15 and my dad went to the barbershop to get his haircut. And like in most Black barbershops, just like you see in the movie, people selling stuff, people giving out stuff, come buy this mixtape, this whatever. And my dad comes home and he has these 2 tickets to see this play. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, me and my dad never been to a play, but he was like, the guy kind of sold him on, this is going to be a good play. This brother's good. We go to Augusta, Georgia, to the Bell Auditorium, and it is Tyler Perry. In his early stages, we went to see Die of a Mad Black Woman. And I remember he came out as Daddy Charles and he came out as Medea. And we had these great seats, floor seats, about 7 rows back from the stage, center. Mm-hmm. And as he's acting and the actors on stage, I look around and everyone's high-fiving, they're clapping, strangers talking. There's this camaraderie, these people that don't know each other, but we all have some similar backgrounds. And I see people crying, then they're laughing again. And I say, you know what? I want to do that. Like it's something just hit me in my stomach, just like, oh, I want to do that. If someone comes in and they're completely crushed, they're down, but I can make them smile for about 2 hours, laughing, getting rid of those emotions, changing their energy. I want to do that. And not only that, I love this. I love getting up on stage and performing. Of course, coming from a small town, we didn't have a lot of performance arts and resources. So it fell off for a while. And I went through a divorce in 2015. And that was my restart button. My restart button from switching over from being a wife. Y'all were talking about a family. You were talking about legacy and being together for years and retiring together. Now, none of that is going to occur with this person. So your whole mindset has to change. And I said, you know what? If this is a restart, I'm going to go for everything I've always thought about wanting to do. And acting was one of those things. And so I just kind of threw myself out there. I knew a few people who had been acting and they gave me some tips on make sure you get your head shot and get this. And so I've been doing this and rocking this since 2015 and I've gotten better and better and I'm still growing. I've networked. I've done a little bit of everything. I've done stage, I've done film, I've done television. I'm creating my own content now. So It's been a whirlwind adventure, and I am not jumping off this train anytime soon.
Wow, wow. Hey, congratulations. And I think about what you said when you went there. We watched that what you was watching. Nothing is a mistake. It's a certain time. It's the perfect place. And it's funny how things trigger us. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's full circle too, because I went at 15 to see a Tyler Perry production, and now I get casting calls and I'm auditioning for Tyler Perry,
wow,
I
wow,
haven't booked with him yet, but Lord knows I've auditioned for him a lot.
man,
And even that, people may say, well, you're auditioning for him all the time and you ain't booked nothing. That might be mean you're not that good of an actress. Let me tell you, for those who don't know, by the time you get an audition, like a casting call audition, they have already dwindled through hundreds of thousands of people and have narrowed it down to about 100 people. So for you to even get an audition means you're doing something right.
wow,
Now, it may come down to you and somebody else, and they chose the other person. It may come down to they just looked, more the part that they were looking for as far as their persona and how they looked, and all that kind of stuff. So it could be other things that go into it. But I tell anyone, if you're getting the auditions, half of your battle is already won because you've been weeded out through hundreds of thousands of people.
Wow. Hey, that is some good stuff. That's one heck of a way to answer a first question. So, so now, I was about to say Letitia. Hey, I want to call you Evelyn. This is the first name. So
Evelyn Letitia, yeah, as long as you get it right. That's all.
That's a culture thing in me. Hey, people say Hicks, So, but yeah, Evelyn. So the second question.
Mm-hmm.
What interested you in the social vision episode, Vote Trip, when you got the script? Like, is it something that kind of say, I like, it's making me want to play this role, So
I like I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
Well, I like how you were using social media, like a social platform like Zoom, to create the story, because as everyone know, coronavirus and quarantine kind of shut down and changed the way we did everything last year. Even as far as casting calls, like the whole industry with acting got put on hold, but all these casting calls started coming up, and they were what? Virtual reads, or we want to see people who are quarantined together, and how are you dealing with that? So when I saw the Vote Trip, I was like, oh, this is interesting, because finally I can participate. Because most of the quarantine stuff that I saw coming through, it was real family of four, roommates quarantined together, and here I am, a single woman who lives alone with no cat, dog, kid, fish, nothing. So I'm like, I don't fit any of these things they're looking for. So when you sent me the script for Vote Trip, I was like, oh, I can do this. I can be the wife in the car or somewhere out. I can do this one. Like, this is an individual thing I can participate in. So I was excited about that, and just hearing the philosophies of the guys going back and forth, about politics and things like that, because we all were having these conversations at home over this quarantine and business that was going on. So,
hey, and I have to say this, people, when I say she did a great job, in the role, the script is very small, and it's done on purpose like that for the episodes, but man, you can tell she brought something to the table. So I just want to say, Evelyn, you did a great job. So
thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, we're almost done. We're halfway there. The third question is, how do the character Kim, that's who Evelyn played, Kim, relate to you by any way or stretch of the imagination? How does she relate?
Yes, Kim reminds me of myself, especially when I, in a relationship. I'm definitely one like, let me call and see how my man doing. Let me check on him, see what's up, just like checking in from time to time. To me, when people think intimacy, they automatically think it's just physical touch. But intimacy can be you checking on someone, you asking them about their day, things like that. So I definitely relate to her in that way. She's calling to check on her man. She's also very straightforward. She's going to give you the facts, but also like how people, they may want the truth, but they don't want to hear the truth necessarily. So Kim kind of gave the truth, but she was, she gave a little humor so it'll land a little softer. Because again, people want the truth, but they really don't want the truth. So there was a part where she said, oh, so-and-so is having a job fair, and you don't even have to get your car. And the underlying subtext was, hey, Negro, I want you to go get this job today, and you don't have an excuse because you riding through, they're going to come to your car. but she did it in a joking way, like, "Hey, you don't have to get out your car," you know.
It was a little sarcasm in there, huh?
Yeah, it's a little sarcasm because had she said, "Look, you need to go get you a job," it would have went over a whole different way.
Yeah,
So Kim definitely reminded me of myself. You know, I've always had to be in a position where I interact with a lot of folks. So you have to learn people on a quick rotating basis and how their learning styles and their communication styles are. Everyone doesn't do good with straightforward matter of fact. Some people you can give it to them, but you got to give a little humor so to land a little softer. Get the same point across, but you got to meet them where they are and how they receive communication. So that's what that reminded me of in Kim. That and that intimate portion of just checking on her man during the day.
Well, Evelyn, I learned something because if you would have told me that 4 years ago or 5 years ago, that would have been perfect. So I'm still learning.
Oh.
I'm still learning that. So it's a delivery and it's the way that you say certain things. You know,
you
also you can say it, but it's also just a certain word that you can add. You know, so
yeah.
That's a learning lesson. Thank you for the class. Thank you.
Oh, you are absolutely. Look, I'm here to make it easy. I'm here to teach the people what they need to know.
Exactly. Hey, that's why we got you on here. So, okay, now.
Amen.
Amen. And they're saying, what has been the best thing and the worst thing since you talked about the, I just call it the pandemic. The worst thing for you during this pandemic. So, what has been the best and the worst thing?
I'll start with the worst. People like the bad first.
Okay.
So the worst thing for me has been, I'm a very adventurous person. I'm very spontaneous. So like I said, I don't have anything tying me down to my house, like really that I have to be considerate of someone else right now because I'm single. I don't have any kids. I don't have animals that I have to, So I'm used to just getting up and going. I can get up and go bowling. If I feel like bowling today, I can go bowling. I can go skating. I can go to the movies. And, any day of the week, you randomly can catch me at Frankie's Fun Park at the batting cages, things like that. So when quarantine hit, it's like, y'all are shut down on my fun stuff to do. Like I want to go to Top Golf. Like it's literally 15 minutes away. So it shut down all of that. So that was the worst part. Also, I love to travel. Each year I take at least one domestic trip, one international trip. And last year in January to March, I was on a tour for theater. But that tour actually started in November of 2019, and I had a trip planned to Africa. I was supposed to go to Ethiopia for about a week, but it just so happened that same week was the same week I was going to be doing this 1 week residency in Tennessee for this theater company. So I put my African trip on hold. And I was going to go this year, but instead of 1 week, I was going to do 2 to 3 weeks and go like kind of skip around to Ethiopia, Kenya, Ghana, all these places I really want to go to. And so that was the worst part of this quarantine. I'm like, I can't go nowhere. I can't get on this plane, whatever, But the most fun part, and I do this a lot, I self-reflect a lot. I always try to take self-inventory of how I'm showing up in the world, How am I showing up in people's presence? How am I showing up alone? And so being quarantined and you're by yourself, it allowed me to dig deeper into me. It allowed me to analyze how I communicate. It allowed me to analyze past relationships, whether it's friends or romantic, they're, present, and then potentially future relationships. It allowed me to look back over situations where I've lost, friendships or things like that. And even though I still feel like they was wrong, I had to think to myself, I was like, yeah, you feel like they was wrong, but the fallout came due to an expectation sometimes that you didn't readily let them know what the expectation was. So there's a communication breakdown. So being quarantined allowed me to self-reflect in a lot of those areas. It allowed me to really stop because I'm a very, like I said, spontaneous person. It allowed me to be still and present with myself. And I don't think a lot of people do that readily. And I encourage more people to do it because you may think you're flying through this life and meeting up with people and interacting with folks and think everything's fine, but you're never taking that time to slow down and do self-inventory of how you're showing up. So it allowed me to be a lot more, I'm already very empathetic and compassionate, but it allowed me to be even more empathetic and compassionate towards others. Because I'm like, we're all flawed. But when you're sitting and it's complete silence and the only flaws you have to focus on is your own, you really get down and dirty with, opening up some areas that you closed off. And it allowed me to be more vulnerable in my acting as well. It made me reach down into places where I had kind of pushed way back in the closet, like, yeah, we're not going to revisit that.
Okay.
We don't need to dig into that. It allowed me to revisit those things, and it made me come across even more authentic when I did my auditions. If I had to cry or show emotion, it wasn't me acting the emotion. It wasn't me acting like I'm going to do this emotion. It was, I'm experiencing this emotion because I'm releasing those things that I push to the back of my brain, that stuff deep down in my soul, that I'm pulling that stuff forward now, and I'm experiencing that. And it created this healing process. It created me to growing in this craft. And that's what I'm steadily doing now, is just, reaching back and steadily, meditating and self-reflecting. So that was probably the best thing about this quarantine. It allowed me to really slow down and do that.
So what's the next thing for you? That's just what I always want the audience to know, and
Yes.
also your plugs after that, and then we'll be done.
Okay. Well, I am currently writing a good bit of short films that I plan on trying to start putting into production in the summertime. So aside from writing those, I'm also getting the business together, making sure I got, contracts laid out the way I want, make sure I'm networking with the right people, so that when it's go time, I can present people who I want to work with a full package, not them having concerns about, okay, where are we going to do this? When is this? I like everybody to be up, know what the expectations are, know what's going to be occurring. So working on that. And I'm working behind the scenes of, when I plan on launching the name of my production company and all of that good stuff. In the meantime, I've been having a lot of callbacks. I actually have a callback tomorrow for a film. I've been reached out to by someone to direct their short film. I've been creative director for other folks, and people are still reaching out to me to do some creative work. And yeah, I'm trying to get everything that was meant for me. That's where I'm at right now. And I'm staying busy. I'm staying busy and working, and I'm enjoying this ride, and just, I'm learning so much, and I get to meet and interact with awesome people like yourself.
Say, hey, you see why I had to get her on the first. This is the first episode vote trip. I had to get Evelyn. I seen some clips of her on certain things, and man,
Yeah.
when she
Oh,
said,
speaking of the clips,
go ahead.
I'm a very well-rounded person. So if you expect me to be this little neat, classy woman all the time, you in for a rude awakening.
Hey, Evelyn, man, hey, it's been a pleasure, man, and I thank you. And hey, people just don't understand, as a director, you being a director, hey, you just help to have actors who are, that really wanted to work more than you wanted to work, and so they bring a lot to the project. And I just say, hey, I was blessed to have you a part of Boat Trip and a part of the social vision. So
I look forward to working with you again in the future, most definitely.
most definitely. Any plugs though? Any things you can think of, like
Yes.
as far as
You can
Instagram?
find, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at EVELYN LeTESHIA. That's EVELYN LETESHIA. Also, I'm on Facebook, facebook.com/EVELYN LeTESHIA. Just check those out. I have YouTube links that you can go to my YouTube page, EVELYN LeTESHIA over there. I'll be putting a whole lot more content this year. That's one thing I need to do, is put more of my content and really focus on myself. But y'all, please follow. I will follow back. Please sincerely follow. Don't follow me to get your numbers up, because I know when y'all do that too.
Yeah.
Let's not do that. Let's sincerely follow and support each other, because I sincerely love following and supporting you all.
I have to salute that comment right there. So yeah, people, hey, follow the people that you care for and that you want to kind of, have some certain things in common. Also have, relationships going on here and there, as far as like, somebody's doing something. Evelyn might support you too. You're doing something. So hey, but I know people look at the numbers. Don't look at us as numbers. Let's try to be a little bit more personal, so we won't lose that skill. But anyway, thank you, Evelyn. It's been a pleasure. You're the first one, which I feel like, hey, I just
don't set that bar high. I don't.
Yeah, you said it high. Hey, they got to
y'all
come with it now. And hey, with all your endeavors, I just hope that the best for you. I hope it goes well. And I know with your personality and your work ethic, I know it's going to be doing some great things. So you're going to be doing some great things. So I will be there to help and support wherever you need. And I just
And
want to
I want to give one more piece of
okay.
advice to everyone watching. My piece of advice to anyone, any creative, anything you're doing in your life, please don't measure your level of success by other people's timelines. And what that means is it's easy to get caught up in seeing other folks doing what they love to do and saying, oh, they're doing all this stuff. Why am I not farther along? You need to focus. What's meant for you is coming. It's going to come right when you don't expect it, but you can't see it coming if you focus on someone else's timeline. So don't measure your success by someone else's timeline. That's all I got for the folks.
Y'all got to clap it up on that. Hey, and with that, we will end this first interview for the social vision, and what better way to start out with EVELYN LeTESHIA. So you guys take care. Hey, I'm Maurice J. Hicks, and this is LeTESHIA. EVELYN
Yes.
LeTESHIA.
EVELYN LeTESHIA, that's me.
You guys take care. Hey, blessings.